Yeah, I know with Lisa, I'll call her during the day, once or twice just to check in with her. And it's really nice just to communicate with somebody that you have a connection with.
Nice for you. She told me she'd rather you not
Well,
call.
that's probably true. That's probably true. I know it's important to spend time with your spouse to build that close relationship. How much time each day should you spend together in order to build that quality time that is needed?
Well, we actually do know because there's research that tells us what really works and what doesn't. Drs. John and Julia Gottman have researched relationships to death for 40 years now. And we actually do know what it takes we're not guessing anymore. We know what it takes in order to make relationships work. When I'm working with couples, I usually ask them, I say, how much time do you guys typically spend together every day?
Sure.
And sometimes, there are a few couples who spend a lot of time just kind of talking together, debriefing their day. And then there are some folks who kind of go, maybe 5 minutes, or it's just not much at all. But really what you're supposed to spend is about 20 to 25 minutes together just debriefing about your day, just talking about your day.
Well, what about talking on the phone during the day? How does that work? Can you use that time as those 20 to 25 minutes each day?
The answer is possibly. If it's meaningful for you and it's meaningful for me and it's taking place electronically, absolutely, it does.
Sure.
It does help. It's always nice to sit down and do the face-to-face, but sometimes you have to do it, electronically, and it does count. You can do that.
Well, if it's 20 to 25 minutes per day and there's 7 days in a week, do you just take the 7 days times the 20 or 25 minutes and that's what you come up with for the week of time you should spend together?
Well, there's actually an answer for that too. It's about 20 to 25 minutes per day, just kind of debriefing your day. But about it's called the magic 5.5 hours actually, where you spend about 5.5 hours doing meaningful activities with your spouse, something that's feeding to you, something that's feeding to her, and it needs to equal at least 5.5 hours.
What happens if you spend too much time together? Is there such a thing?
I guess it depends on the couple. Well, that's the thing. Master couples, they do things I don't like, they do things you don't like, but they report happiness in the relationship. And that's a master couple. So if it's working for them, by all means, keep doing it. But if it's not, you got to make some, real mindful changes.
I've always wondered about watching TV together. Is there a benefit? Do you build that bond together? You watch the same shows together, or you're watching the same sports team, and you build a connection doing that. Does that work towards that time?
The answer is it meaningful? Is
Right.
it meaningful to both people? Do you really like it? We just finished binge watching the show Frasier. We didn't see it when it was in syndication,
Right.
and so we would look forward to it. We would enjoy the event. We have good memories of it. They'd say stuff that we didn't know what it means, so we'd be pausing it and Googling it to see what those phrases actually meant. And it was a really nice time for us. And actually, it was a little bit sad for us when we finished it
Yeah, I bet.
this past week. It was kind of like, you almost kind of form a relationship with the characters, and then you certainly you're forming a really nice relationship with one another through it. And then the fear button sometimes gets pushed. What are we going to do now?
Right.
Kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
so absolutely, watching TV can count if it's meaningful. Yeah. So it's a really doable thing. 20, 25 minutes a day, and then add up your times. It needs to be at least 5.5, 6 hours together a week doing meaningful activities, and it's very relationship transforming. Very doable.
Thank you again for joining us on another episode of Tabletop Coffee. In this episode, we covered the topic of the magic 5.5 hours. Did you know that there was a set amount of time that you need to spend together as a couple in order to build that connection? So learning that taking 20 to 25 minutes each day and talking about the different things that went on during your day with the person that you love is such an important part of building relationship and building closeness together. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share this with your friends and click that subscribe button, and also be sure to click that bell so you're notified of any upcoming videos. We look forward to having you join us again. Until next time.